I've been waiting years for a more hopeful, more fun Superman movie. Did James Gunn deliver? Welcome to Movie World Plus, the place where we talk movies. I'm Andy Signore. And all you Man of Steel haters, don't you come hating at me. I've come to respect that movie a little bit more. It's definitely the best of the Snyderverse movies, in my opinion. Henry Cavill was great, but the brooding, complaining Superman wasn't my cup of tea. I loved the parts with Diane Lane. There are some okay moments of Man of Steel, but I really wanted to see a more hopeful, more colorful, more fun, upbeat Superman that still wrestles with the challenge that Man of Steel does of the stress of saving the world and everybody sort of agreeing with, is he doing the right thing? Those are strong themes to challenge. And I feel like Superman, James Gunn's version, does handle a lot of that stress, but manages to do it in a much brighter, funner, comic book, dare I say, cartoony way. I think that's my biggest warning before I get into my review, my real thoughts on this. This film plays like a live action remake of the Superman animated series. And that's a good thing and a bad thing. It works in cartoons a lot more for me. But in a film, it just means a lot of characters and a lot of sort of silliness at times. Some of it works, some of it doesn't work. A lot of threads that I don't feel like fully were addressed or fulfilled. Whereas a film, a cinematic achievement, would have really tried to focus on more of the important plots rather than the big, broad monster moments. Now, at the same time, there are some really fun sequences. And I got to say, overall, the film works more than doesn't work because of its casting. And I got to give James Gunn a lot of props. I actually really liked, what is his name? David Corenswet. Is that how we say this? He's really good. I got to say, I was very impressed with him. I was impressed with a lot of this cast. Corenswet, I got to learn how to say his name. I know, but he hasn't done a lot of interviews yet. I don't know. All I know is Corenswet, David. Let's call him David. David does a really good job as Superman. I like the look. I like the feel. He is giving it his all. Any of my issues are more script-based than character-based and actor-based. I give him high marks. And I also got to give Nicholas Hoult high marks as well. He does a fantastic job as Lex Luthor. This moment in particular in the film, he's just evil and he's just reveling in the evilness. I was quite impressed. I can't lie. He does a really good job. And I really was a fan of his. On top of that, you got Rachel Brosnahan from The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. She was also on House of Cards. I really liked her as well. She does a fantastic Lois Lane. She steps up, does the sort of standard Lois Lane stuff, if you will. But also gets to have some dynamic in sort of her relationship with Clark. And it's interesting. How does this relationship work? She reveals at one point, like, I'm bad at relationships. She's focused on her job, all these things. But it does work. The two of them have chemistry. I liked their back and forth. I liked the James Gunn sort of dialogue amidst all the chaos that's attempting to try to get to these characters. That's when this movie shines the best. And then you add Krypto, who, is adorable. I did love Krypto. There's a little few silly moments of like, well, wait, where did Krypto come from? They do answer that, and I didn't like the answer. I'm a little worried about the answer. And it also sort of alludes to like, well, if he's there, then Superman's not the only one. Was he in the pod with what's going on? The film sort of sets up this film as this alien lands on Earth and, adapts and is there to sort of save it. So, look, overall, it's hard to criticize Krypto. He's going to sell a lot of toys. I get why he's in there. And he's a very cute one. My kid loved it. My kid loved the whole movie. I want to say that. This is clearly a kid's movie, a family movie. That's important to remind you all. My son doesn't like these types of movies. I had to drag him to this one. He did. And I'm glad he did because he actually really enjoyed it. Probably even more so than I did. And I was grateful for that. I loved that he had fun with this. And it asked some questions. And he was even saying, who's the good guy? Who's the bad guy? What do you think when they're having some of these debates? It's a good film for teens, sort of, young kids. I do think he hits all the quadrants, if you will. I also want to call out a couple other talent. Jimmy Olsen is played by Skylar Gisondo, is how you say his name. I really liked his interpretation of Jimmy Olsen. Kind of a womanizing, but in a fun way, sort of social media kid who's trying to make his way. It works, and he plays it really well. I liked him. He was a standout, as was Mr. Terrific. My goodness, I'm not a fan of this Edi Gathegi. Again, I don't know how to say these names. I know I should learn more, but they're not doing a lot of interviews yet. Hopefully over time we'll get more. But Edi is his name. Mr. Terrific, as a character I'm not even that familiar with, he was a standout in this of the crew. There's a sort of a Justice Gang with Nathan Fillion's in it, as well as Isabela Merced as Hawkgirl and Guy Gardner, Green Lantern. They're fine, but to me, Mr. Terrific was the standout of there. Nathan Fillion's definitely he's fun in a way. He serves a purpose. But again, sort of did need other characters to help him in this world, but also asks a lot more questions that I'm not going to give that a fault. I assume we'll learn more of that as the film progresses. I appreciated the film sort of starts amidst the metahumans and Superman's journey and didn't give us yet another origin story. I do applaud him for just trying to get into the story and feeding us there. Now, overall, this image and the outfit, it bugged me. I'm not going to lie. I don't love the textures. He plays way better in the film. He does. He's a good Superman. And I was worried about sort of him being defeated right away. Just so you know, this is literally the opening of the movie. So although a lot of stuff in the trailer, you're seeing pretty much the opening of the movie and a lot more does happen. But this sort of, he gets beat up by this first sort of villain. His first attempt of losing a fight is how the film sort of starts. So he's a little sort of off kilter, and you will learn why, and all that sort of progresses. The world grows, and in a lot of ways it works. It's fun. In some ways it doesn't. I really did love more of the parts with him, with the people, trying to help the people, working with the people who love him, the people who are frustrated with him trying to make his way. That sort of part of the movie is where it stuck to me the best and where I liked it the best. And I also really like the two of them. When they're together, the film does have chemistry. It works. These two are cute, if I dare I say, and challenged. How difficult would it be to be with a Superman who decides to stop a war? And then what does that actually mean to the government? This film does attempt to sort of quickly hit at those types of topics, which would happen. Can you imagine if a Superman really was in today's world, how aggressive some people would be? It's sad because James Gunn opened his mouth about all the politics of the movie. I would argue there's no politics in this movie. Sure, there's some broad war issues and things that have been happening forever that this film touches upon, but in no way is it trying to get woke or talk about politics. It's done in a superhero world, and it's frustrating James Gunn took the bait and allowed it to become that, because it's really not about that. You're either going to enjoy this movie because it's a fun, cartoony comic book movie, you're going to let that be, you're into that, or you'll just sort of not want to see that type of movie, and that's fine. But everybody out there criticizing the wokeness, I'm so tired of that. This movie is not a woke Superman. It's a Superman movie. It is absolutely just like the comic books, just like the animated series. Now, Gunn adds his own flares from time to time, and more often than not, I'd say they work. There's some fun action sequences. I really liked Mr. Terrific sequence. There's a sequence with him. I won't, but you'll know which one I'm talking about. A standalone moment he has that really works. And there's some other characters that are introduced along the way that are fun, some action sequences. But I will say overall, as much as I got to say, I enjoyed myself. It's fun. I didn't love it. It still left me a little, never really hit me like some movies can. Now, I think it will hit for a lot of Superman fans, comic book fans, a lot of viewers and kids and families, and I'm excited for that. And overall, I'm giving it a thumbs up. I'm not in any way trying to complain or critique it too much, but I do think Gunn overstuffed it in a way and lost focus on some of the real plot points that had he massaged those more, focused there more, and up those stakes a little bit more, we could have had a little bit more emotional impact, which I would hope a movie would have over, say, the animated series. But even then, some animated series and animated movies, I would argue, had more emotional moments than this one did. There are grasps at it, and there are moments where it's very close, such as kids holding up those flags, and you're like, yes, go. But it also never fully delivered for me a way where I was like, yes, Superman! Like, I was just dying for those moments. And they are so close, but never fully hit. And even like the music, I always feel like the music is playing a version of the John Williams theme that never hits the high level that John Williams' theme did. And so the whole film is sort of trying its best to sort of replicate the best Superman that we've seen in ways and also make it its own. But in that way, it also sort of feels like, well, I guess we've seen these, haven't we? It's still the same. It never really hits as hard as I wanted it to. That's my only sort of criticism. It's just not great. This is not a movie that I feel like I'm going to watch 100 times and stick with me like some of the Marvel movies have and other Batman movies have. This one just really, it works. It left a smile. I did have fun. I'm glad my kid had fun. But overall, I wish I had just loved it even more. That's really what I was hoping for. Kind of that's a me problem. I get it, but I just got to give you my honest feedback, my honest review. Overall, though, I got to say, I'm excited to see where this could go. It is definitely not a failure by any stretch of the imagination. It is a hard undertaking, and I will give Gunn props for getting it there. And I'm hopeful for the future of this. At the same time, there are 2 end credit sequences. There's a mid one and an end one, both are which not really important. They're kind of more done for gags than affecting the plot, which I feel like James Gunn previously said he doesn't like that. He usually wants those end credit scenes to mean something. Neither of them really mean something. Be prepared. There's another moment that happens before the end credits that you'll see that introduces a character that I sense is going to be, a future direction this world goes. And I'll be honest, that worried me. That worried me more. That kind of vibe was where the movie didn't work for me. Whereas there's another cameo earlier in the film in a newsreel. That one totally worked for me, and I loved that. So it was like a mixed bag for me in sort of cameo, future promises, where this film goes. I look forward to what you guys think. What did you think? I think more people are going to like this than not. I don't think it's as divisive as some people are saying. I think there will be more middle people like myself. But I'm so curious what you think. How much did you love it? Did you not love it? Please let us know after you see it in the comments down below. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for all alerts, smash the bell as well so you get alerts when I have a movie review, and hit that thumbs up. And sorry, I know I've missed some movies. I've been away, and then I missed some of the critic screenings, and then I feel like I'm a little too late, and I didn't post my Jurassic Park review. But I am trying my best to get back in it, so please stay tuned. Let me know what you think. Thank you guys so much for watching, and what do you think of Superman? You excited? Did you see it? What did you think? Tell me down below.